Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Robert Smith from The Cure. Nice to have you here.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah, sure. How are you doing at the moment?
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe a bit breathless, but good.
Yes, I mean, you just performed here for, I don't know, how long was it actually?
For us, very short actually. It was
1.5 hours.
Just over 2 hours.
Over 2 hours,
Yeah.
okay. So what is that for kind of feeling, you know, when you come back from stage playing such a gig? Do you feel exhausted? Are you happy? Are you...
No, in fact, quite frustrated this evening because so far this is our 5th show of the summer and we've done at least 3 hours on 4 of them. So I just want to keep singing, you know. In fact, I feel like Elvis. No, it's there's a point to, you know, where you kind of get into what you're doing, and for us it's the 3rd hour. That's when we start to play songs that we don't normally play, and you know, I think that's what Cure fans come to festivals to see. So it's unfortunate that tonight and tomorrow at Southside are actually the 2 shortest sets that we're going to play all summer. But on the plus side, it means we put everything into that first 2 hours. So.
But which makes it even more harder actually to choose the songs, isn't it? I mean, you got so many.
It's impossible, really, because not only can we not think who wants to hear what in the audience, in the band we argue about who wants to play what. So
okay, so that's the way you pick it then. It's a
nowadays, I float the idea of a set list maybe 24 hours before. It's always Simon. It's me and Simon decide what we play, and everyone thinks Simon's like really hardcore and wants to Actually, Simon always wants to play pop songs.
Yeah.
He'd be happy playing like greatest hits on stage, and it's me that's pushing for the doomier, gloomier songs all the time. But it was a nice balance tonight. I thought it was a good set tonight. But if you didn't really know who The Cure were, you probably got a good idea of what we do. The encore was a strange encore. Same Deep Water as You. It's like 9 minutes of just, you know, thunder and rain. But that was me. I insisted that we did it. I just thought because, you know, I imagine myself in the audience, and that's what I want to see. So.
Because I really want it, because you play so many shows all over the place. I mean, Europe and in America, Asia, everywhere. So you pick for every special show like a special lineup, like a special set list, or is it you say, okay, now we do like 15 shows with the same set list?
No, we've never done
never.
That. No.
Oh my God.
No.
It's a lot of work.
Well, it's not work. I enjoy it more than almost everything else that I do. It's it isn't work. It really isn't work for anyone in the band. I mean, we've got Reeves, Gabrels playing with us on guitar. This is his 5th show. Mm-hmm. So the first show was like we threw him in at the deep end. We played, I think, 30 songs, and he's had to learn almost 50 songs, so that I'm happy. Like, we always need at least 50 songs.
Okay.
Because tomorrow night at Southside, we won't play the same set as tonight.
Okay.
It'll be totally different.
I really love that.
I mean, it's. They think, you know, the band sometimes think I'm a bit weird about it, but it's not, because I think that there may be a handful of people who will travel from North Germany to South Germany, but it's more important that we go on stage and think about what we're doing and play. We've got so many songs that I enjoy singing that it would be stupid to, like, if we did this set tomorrow night, it'd be like a horrible Groundhog Day moment.
Okay.
I'd be like, how can it, you know? So every time we go on stage, I always change it somehow, always, just to keep everyone thinking, and myself included. It's like,
right.
You know, I have to keep thinking about.
So what I really like that. I love your voice. Your voice is, I mean, it's such a remarkable voice. When you, I mean, even if you don't know The Cure's on, you will hear it, and it seems that it hasn't changed that much since like all over the years. Do you feel the same?
That's because I've looked after myself so well. I have no idea why it hasn't gone yet. It will one day. It will disappear. I know it. You know.
But it's really.
But the secret, I think, it is, in a strange way, it's actually a mental thing.
Okay.
It's I enjoy myself more, and not in a happy way on stage, but like tonight when I was singing Disintegration, the final song of the set tonight, I was totally in the song. I was like as in the song as I was when I was first doing it, when I was like in my...
That's what would be my next question, because the songs are always related to something, I guess. When you sing them now, and it's a song maybe from the 80s or from the 90s or from somewhat...
Well, some songs.
Do you have then pictures in your mind when you probably recorded it or something?
Like the opening of the set tonight with Plain Song and Pictures of You from Disintegration, I'm very aware of like what the songs mean and what they are. And every time I sing them, wherever I am in the world, when I sing them, I always have the same imagery. But other songs, like Doing the Unstuck, we played tonight from the Wish album. It's an insane song about being happy, and I wrote it and I sang it once in the studio. We very rarely play it. It's suddenly come back into the set because Simon and I decided that I think it's the 20th anniversary of Wish this year, so we thought let's put some Wish songs in, you know. And that's one of them, and it's actually grown to be a really enjoyable song. But the imagery that I have in my mind is I know it's totally different to when I first wrote it. Okay. It's about my life now and about how I should kind of be happy about doing what I do. So I'm still in the moment. But there are certain, obviously, the bigger emotional songs. Another example, 100 Years Tonight. I'm taken back to like 1982, brief, for 6 minutes. I'm living a life when, it's an odd feeling. It really is. It's a very weird part of what I do. But if I ignore that, if I try and modernise the song, it will lose everything. I just know it will. So I try and engage with my younger self inside my head and sing it as it should be sung. But I would hate to live like that. That's why we don't play very often. I would go fucking mental, actually.
But what I wonder is that when you look back at the Robert Smith, like in the 80s, when you first sung the songs, do you feel happy that you are now the Robert Smith of the now? Or do you sometimes wish, I would love to turn back the time one more time?
Who wouldn't want to go back?
No?
Of course. I miss all the things that I used to be able to do when I was young. But I think the younger me would be content with the older me.
Okay.
I always had this young voice in my head, like Jiminy Cricket sitting on my shoulder saying, don't do that, don't do that. I've always tried to... if I thought that The Cure was becoming something other than what it was intended to be, I would stop. It's important to me. I mean, it's my whole adult life, really, The Cure. So it does, it doesn't mean as much to anyone else as it means to me. So, but there's inevitably a point as you grow older where you can't connect all the time with the person that you were when you were young. There are a number of bands who are like maybe our age or maybe even older who still continue to play, but I think it's more, it's just about performance, which is good if you can do it, but I can't. For me, the Cure isn't just about performance, it's about, it's much more a mental state. I really do need to be in the band to do this. So this summer, everything else takes second place, family life and home life and everything else is just, it disappears, and we're doing this again. And so it has to be really good. I mean, it's one of those things maybe I didn't think about when I was young, when music's everything when you're young. I mean, if you're a musician particularly, but for a lot of young people, music's everything. And being in a band is like going around the world playing songs. It's the most fantastic thing you can think of. As you get older, you have to keep that idea of it being fantastic. The only way you can do that is not to do it that often, I think. Okay. Otherwise, it just becomes routine, and so this is not routine. This is weird and good.
Could you stop actually playing music, or is it an addiction that you say, I can live?
I'll never stop playing music. I think performance and music are two different things. I think, I have family get-togethers and I sing.
Okay. That would be enough?
I will never stop doing that. But, I honestly think it will. I think it's one of those things when you're young, again, you think, how could I ever stop doing this? Like, it is an addiction. It's like, it's fantastic, the feeling that you get of doing a show like this. But I have this voice, and I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to, you know, like in 5 years' time, so I like dodder on stage, like, boys, don't cry. It'd be fucking awful. It's like, I can't. I have always promised myself that I would know when I should stop, and the end is obviously a lot closer than it used to be. I think when I don't feel I can sing as I want to sing, that's when I'll stop. So, you know, I think I'm close to it. But I thought I sang well tonight. If I say so myself.
It was fantastic. I was listening to it all the time. I mean, we were like, oh my God, the voice it's just there again.
No, it is the thing. It is the thing with a singer.
Yeah.
You see older singers, like really quite old singers, fighting against age in a way that it's uncomfortable, because it's, at some point, I mean, my dad was a great singer when he was young, and you know, he still sings at home. He's still there. We sing together at the piano, you know. It's like, but he wouldn't get up on stage to sing, and I feel the same way. I don't want to be someone who used to be someone. It's an awful thing, and it's not about perception of, like, it's nothing to do with youth, or it's much more to do with like the ability to do what you want to do, and it's like with like athletes or sportsmen. It's like, it's the same thing. If you can't get to that point, you should just stop doing it in public. You should never stop. I'm sure footballers don't stop playing football on the beach just because they've hit 35. You know, they go to America. No, I mean, you keep going, but you don't charge people money.
All right.
That's probably the secret.
But I don't know. Is there any plans for the Cure material, or are there any plans that you do like solo stuff again, or is it like what do you think? What will the future bring?
The most difficult question is actually about what we do in the future. For me, like, not in an interview. It's just like the question that I pose myself, because we have a lot of new songs that we recorded from the last album, which is like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Probably like at least 12 songs that are finished with vocals and like. But I feel uncomfortable about releasing them, and it sounds really stupid. And I listen to them, and I think they're really good, but they're not me now. So they will come out, but whether they are the new thing from The Cure, I don't think they are. I think that perhaps on the back of what we're doing now with Reeves, it would be good to just go in and do something. Like, we've written one new song actually since we've started doing this.
Okay.
It's a really good, but it's horribly catchy. It's like a pop song. Like, but I think we can do something that's quite. I know what I want to do.
Yes.
It's one thing knowing what you want to do and actually achieving it. So I would like us to do something completely different to anything we've done before as The Cure. I mean, probably Cure fans will probably imagine what it will sound like. They'd be wrong.
Okay.
Because Reeves has a very distinctive sound as a guitarist. It's like, you know, he's a fantastic guitarist. He's one of the best guitarists in the world. And it's quite funny me telling him how to play. You know. But he appreciates what I'm trying to do, which is kind of educating him into a mindset, which is what The Cure really is. Like, the music that we play has a certain mood, and that's what I'd like to follow through. So whether we do or not, it's like, I don't know. People moan at me like saying, "Oh, we're gonna." I have such ambition still, but there's no point in us doing something that isn't as good as what we've done before. We've got so many songs. Like, what's the fuck? It's like people say, like, "Have you heard this latest new band?" I think, like, I'm listening to Billie Holiday in my car when I was driving to the airport today. It's like, and I could listen to her for the next 10 years and still not hear enough Billie Holiday. So it's that idea. You need to do something that's so good that people just want to hear it more than anything else. Otherwise, don't bother.
All right, yeah. So there won't be any announcements so far yet, but we will.
Not tonight.
No, not tonight. Okay, sure. But what I want to actually, by the way, just I was searching on Facebook and on your homepage everything what you've done in the last couple of weeks or something. And I always saw like best wishes or greetings from RSX. So are you writing the things for yourself? Are you into like this internet thing, like Twitter and blogging and writing, or is it someone you tell them write it and they will post it or something, or are you really doing that?
The only time I ever write anything is on thecure.com.
Yeah. So not on the Facebook, the Cure page.
No, we've got Facebook and Twitter, but I refuse to go on it. I've got an account, but I've never.
Why that?
Really, why? Because I think it's fucking awful. I see no point to it.
Twitter, Facebook is just.
I mean, it's not. It doesn't matter what I think, really.
Yeah.
I don't engage with it at all. I think it's a step too far. What I do is fantastically ego-driven. The idea that I can write a song and sing a song and people will be interested, it is so beyond how I really am as an individual that I struggle to come to terms with it. I always have since I was very young. Why am I up on stage singing? It really does still bother me. If I fucking tweet about it, I'll kill myself. It's absurd. I'll leave it up to other people to, who live more interesting lives.
Yeah, no, I just wondered because it was so funny.
I am RSX when I do it on thecure.com.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
But I only do that when I get agitated or drunk. That's why I don't tweet.
All right. But I was talking to a lot of bands here on the festival as well and talked about The Cure. And everyone said it. You were the biggest, or at least one of the biggest influences they have. I think a lot of bands you talk to, they will tell you the same. And I wondered, are you proud of that? Are you happy? Are you just a little bit too scared maybe about that? You influence so many people, or you just don't bother? Is it something that you have in your mind as well?
It's one of those strange things that it creeps up on you as you get older. Maybe 10 years ago, I started to be aware of a new generation of youngsters who we would meet at festivals, or they would be somewhere, and they would say, I love what you do, and you'd think that's sweet. I mean, now I can't believe how old we are. That's the problem, really, that we've been doing this for so long that pretty much like. At festivals, I'm much more aware of it. It's in my face. I mean, like with the XX tonight, it's like I've actually done a cover version of an XX song. I did it last year from a song from their first album, Heart Skips a Beat. Because I loved it, and they were trying to do this box set thing, so it would probably come out with the next thing they do. But that's just an example of But wherever we go through Europe, there are always. There are people there who we either know or we get to know. I'm flattered by it, I really am. The difficult part is if it's a band that I don't like. But I never let on.
Yeah, sure. Nice guy, of course.
No, having said that, being serious, I think that anyone that does anything is good. I really do. I've felt that from quite a young age. I fucking hate people who criticise and don't do anything. When other bands slag us off, at least they're doing something, I can take the criticism. I can't take criticism from anyone else. It doesn't bother. I mean, I just think it's pointless, really. But so in the same way, I feel able to criticise other bands and their music, and often I do. One beer too many, and I'm actually quite rude. But as a band, we're very flattered. It's like to meet people that you've inspired. I mean, I've done the same. I met Bowie on his birthday thing, and so I understand what it means, to sit down and I did this with him. And I was like, I did a radio interview with him, and it's the first time I'd ever met him, and I'd grown up with him, and I was like blah blah blah. In fact, I was drunker than I am now, if that's possible. So I do know how it feels to be. Like inspired by someone else, and it's not a fan thing. You just kind of think, well, it's like what they do is really good. There are a lot of artists that I'm inspired by. I'm not necessarily a fan, but I think what they do is beyond what anyone else has done. So sometimes I would never listen to it, but I admire what they're doing. And it's and festivals is one of the things we do them every sort of 3 or 4 years. Part of the reason is for me to kind of be in this environment.
All right. But I imagine that there are a lot of bands try to take pictures with you or get an autograph or something. I think that's possible backstage sometimes. And I wonder, is there anyone on this planet you would love to meet, or maybe you haven't met so far, and you would ask for an autograph or a photo?
The only it's really weird this, because I've never said this before, but the person that springs into my mind is Neil Young. I've never met him, and I think of all the people that I've grown up listening to, I'm beginning to realise that he is one of the people that's influenced me quite a lot with his position, like his political position and the way that he does things. A subliminal influence on me, which I've never really talked about, but I think he's always had a really good grasp of like how he does it. Not always, I've never agreed with him wholeheartedly.
Okay,
I think he's been a fucking idiot some of the time. But his persistence and desire to get things done in his own way, I think is admirable. I really do. It's you can never agree wholeheartedly with people who are as hot-headed as someone like Neil Young or Bowie, or indeed me. It's like, I would never put myself in that position, in that company. But I think that within my own world, I try and do what they do. It's like impose my will on others. And the mark of a good band, I think, is having a band that bounces back towards you and tells you how it could be better. And I'm lucky in that I've got, at the moment, I've got a really good bunch of people around me who aren't scared of me and who like to tell me when I'm wrong. And I don't believe them, but it's...
But you could call him any time, couldn't you?
No, the world doesn't work like that. It's like it,
Come
I'm
on.
not. No, of course it doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not desperate. I'm just thinking. You just asked me. I just thought if someone like you always said Neil Young's there, I'd go and say hello to him. Can I have my photo taken with you? There's very few people. I'm too old to have heroes. And also, I'm a punk. Remember.
I know. But there are some bands around on this festival as well. For example, like New Order, Stone Roses. Do you have any stronger connections with them because you met them so many times, or you like personal connections or something?
I find it difficult to think of New Order in the same way as I do the Stone Roses. I think New Order are a lot more. Yes. They have a much richer history. They mean a lot more to me as an individual. Yeah, I'd love, New Order's the way that they changed from Joy Division to New Order and did Movement, and some of their early singles, like Everything's Gone Green, I think was probably the best 12-inch single of the early 80s, even better than Blue Monday. So, we're playing with them. They're playing with us, I should say. But it seems weird. They're playing before us in Milan in a couple of weeks' time. And I never dreamed that they would be on a bill with us. So there's a lot of tension between New Order and The Cure.
Is it?
Because of Peter Hook.
Oh,
but now that he's not there, the tension's disappeared. Because I think Bernard likes us, and I like them. But whenever I said that in the past, people would go, Simon Gallup tries to look like me on stage. Thinking like, have you looked at yourself recently? It's like Simon Gallup does not try and look like, but Peter Hook. I shouldn't be saying any of it. They promised to poke me with a stick if I started to talk about this.
but maybe we take a younger band like Blink-182.
Yes.
They are on the same bill.
Are they still considered a younger band?
A younger than, let's say, New Order.
Yeah. Everyone's younger than us, apart from Neil Young. Yes, Blink.
Blink-182. I was a bit surprised that there is like a connection with The Cure.
No, I mean, I've even been on stage with Blink.
I know. I saw some clips on the internet.
And
I mean, 2004, the MTV Icon thing. They did some songs with you together. I was wondering because it's.
I suppose there is another world behind the scenes sort of world where I am aware of people liking us. Like everyone's able to. If there are record companies or management people, there's always someone's got your email address, and so at some point I usually find out like someone's trying to get hold of me, and it's like so. I'm aware of it, but I'm not. I'm flattered by it, like I said, but I'm not surprised by it because I could kind of. I think Blink are an excellent. I think the early Blink is awful. I've told them it's like, but it's not really aimed at me. It's like if I liked early Blink, I'd be fucking brain dead. They did it for themselves, but I sang with them on an album, and I thought the songs on that album were fantastic songs. There's like 4 or 5 songs that I would have killed them to have written. So I also admire the way they are, like as a live band.
Mm-hmm.
They're fucking brilliant as a live band. They really are brilliant. People probably wouldn't, make the connection.
Mm-hmm. Definitely not. Yeah.
But they're melodic.
Mm-hmm.
There is a certain depth to them as they've grown older. They had the disadvantage, I think, of growing up in public too young.
Mm-hmm.
We came much earlier on. When we grew up in public and did stupid things, no one knew we were doing them. There was no internet. There was no media.
I know.
It's like, Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of groups. In fact, we've played with Linkin Park in Moscow a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
That's another band. They like us. How do you make the connection with that? But they just like how we do what we do. It's like it's almost not about the music. It's almost about the attitude that we've carried through, and we've become like an old band, but we still have this attitude. So I think it's that, actually. That's what I like about it.
I mean, there's so many cover versions of songs of The Cure on the internet or on the radio. Is there anything that you really loved when you heard it for the first time? Or do you don't listen to cover versions of your songs? Or do you...
Well, the first cover version that was ever done of The Cure that was by a bigger band was Dinosaur Jr. did Just Like Heaven. They covered Just Like Heaven in 1987, very soon after it came out. And Jay sent me a cassette tape.
Mm-hmm. Yes?
And asked me what I thought of it, and that's the first time I realised that we were writing songs. It sounds stupid, but until that point we were just, the songs that we wrote I sang and then we played them. That was it. I never dreamed that anyone else would ever play our songs.
Okay.
So I thought it was genius, and I still think it's the best cover version that anyone's ever done of The Cure. So there have been some... I usually get the cover versions before they're released. In fact, almost always, because most people who cover The Cure want me to hear what they've done in order to hear what I think about what they've done. So we're back to that thing where I admire anyone that does anything. Sometimes I think people do like a really strange and good job of covering Cure songs. Other times they're just not to my taste. But But often, I mean, there are cover versions of Cure songs that do really well in films and stuff, or in adverts. It's like people think that's the best version. So,
do you like hearing your songs in on commercials or something like adverts?
I generally don't allow them in commercials. I mean, I never allow Cure songs sung by me in commercials. My voice is never heard in commercials, ever. Even when we use we've allowed 2 songs in 30 years for commercials, and both times were really, I thought, were good reasons, but never my voice, just the music. When other people do it, I can stop it. As the writer, I can actually stop, and have done. I have stopped cover versions being used to advertise products that I think are particularly shit. But sometimes there are smaller acts that do cover versions, and you're thinking it's a strange. This is a bit much, one of these interviews, but it's like I'm thinking like I can't. Why should I impose my? It's not morality, but my sense of like what's right and wrong with regards to like onto a band. This might be the song that gets the notes. It's not their song, but this might bring them to prominence. And so sometimes I let things go. That sounds. I mean, it's true. Actually, I'm being really honest. I think that might do them. If I think it's a good cover version and they're advertising something which is like, I still think it's shit advertising with music. But I think, well, if they're happy to go that route, then
they can do.
Who am I to say you can't use my song because So I don't know. It's part of the modern world that I really don't like, though. Music in adverts. I never have. But I'm in such a small minority now. Like, I realise that I'm seen as an anachronism. I'm a person in an old band who's fighting against. But I think it's shit. I actually think it's totally shit using songs to sell stuff. It's junk. It really is.
So yeah, maybe it's a different world, you know, when you started in the 80s.
No, it's just like I get asked, like, can we use Friday I'm in Love to sell, you know, burgers? Because like, there's an age group now of people who've got like 10-year-olds who will go in like, it's Friday, let's go and buy some burgers. And, like,
no.
So every time you hear Friday I'm in Love, you've got to hit it. I mean, it's bad enough hearing Friday I'm in Love without thinking about burgers.
You shouldn't.
It's tacky enough.
But I love that. I love that. You shouldn't change that, please.
No, I won't.
Yes.
But I'm fortunate we've been successful enough that I don't need the money. Although I feel I would be the same if I was poor. I actually do. My principals they were beaten into me at about the age of 5, so it's like, there's nothing I can do about them.
But it still shows you that the songs are timeless if people still want to use it now, you know?
Well, no, it's just because there's people sitting there thinking there's like... I mean, in about 5 years' time, there'll be grandparents buying their kids. We'll have like Boys Don't Cry products and everything. Like, now there's a grandfather who's like 60 years old. It's that's why it's shit. It's like targeted junk. Anyway.
You never do junk food?
No, in fact, I've had one McDonald's. I was talking to the crew. We were at an airport 3 weeks ago, and it was my first McDonald's in 5 years. They were astonished. One of the crew had 3 McDonald's that day. So it's like,
what did you have? Did you like it?
I ordered the one that was like the New York thing, so I didn't have to eat that fucking horrible bun. It's like a toasted bagel, so it wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
It was almost not a McDonald's. It's like it's still vile though. Took the middle out and just ate the bun.
So it will be the last.
Sorry, I'm not talking.
The last McDonald's.
I'm rambling. It's getting late. Oh, please.
I got one last question. Let's say one last question.
I forgot I was doing an interview.
Doesn't matter. On your guitar, you had the sticker today.
Yes.
The 2012.
It's not a sticker. It's embedded in the guitar.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for that.
That's my new model of guitar for 2012.
I haven't seen it so far. So it's citizens, not subjects.
Yes.
What is the message behind? Is it like a whole campaign or something, or is it just?
It's an old slogan for Republicans around the world, I suspect. I've always hated the royal family, and just this year in particular is just so fucking irritating with the Jubilee and and last year was even worse with the the wedding and stuff. It drives me fucking mental. It really does. It's like,
oh, you didn't like that?
No, seriously, I hate the notion of patronage. I really, really hate it. I hate it flies in the face of everything that. I mean, I have no children of my own, but I have like more than 30 nephews and nieces now. We have a huge extended family, and I despair about the acceptance in my own country. This new sort of like, oh, they look so good. Like she's got. It drives me crazy. It really does.
So, if they have asked you for playing at the concert, like Paul McCartney did or Robbie Williams, would you have played at the Jubilee?
No, there's not enough tea in China for me to.
I thought it would be like the greatest honor ever.
No, you didn't.
For British bands to play for the Queen or
no,
become
I suspect
Sir Robert
that I'm
Smith.
actually in the majority of artists that feel, like, why am I going to be patronised by someone who's done fucking nothing? It's like if my mum and dad decided to confer some kind of like award on me, I'd accept it because they've earned it and I've earned it.
Okay.
But like, how the fuck has anyone else got the right to confer an honour on me? They know nothing about me. I would never dream of doing it. Like, if I said like, I bless you, it's exactly the same. It's a fucking idiot kind of religion. Royalty and religion are just junk. There you go. What else?
Yeah.
No, it's not just my country. It's also feeding into the idea of like a general sort of dissatisfaction with the way the world works, which I feel as keenly as anyone else. I have a dream job. I travel around playing music to people, but I still go home and live in an environment that is disturbing to me, and it has been for a long time. And anyway, but I can't be more political. The problem we've always had is, as a band, The Cure has been an escapist band. Our songs are about stuff, and I look odd. I can't be too political because otherwise I undermine the very cause that I'm proposing to espouse. It's like if I like it and I think it's like a good thing, it doesn't matter how much I think about it or what I say about it, because of how I look and what I do, it undermines. And that's why we're not a political band. So when we all go home as individuals, we do our bit. But 2012 Citizens Not Subjects is about as political as I get on stage. So, but it needs to be said in the year of the Jubilee. Fuck, I was there in 1977. You'd think something would have changed, wouldn't you? So, no.
And it's getting popular and
no
more popular.
Change, as someone once said in 1977.
No change?
Yeah.
Well, I think there won't be any change this year as well.
I think there will.
You think so?
Yeah, I think there'll be revolution in Britain.
But the Queen is as popular as never before.
The Queen's going to die on September the 7th.
Okay.
And then there'll be a huge uprising.
Okay.
And I'll be made king. Can we end there?
I mean, if we could vote for the King, we would vote for it, I think.
Can.
Yes.
I've got to go.
Thank you very much, Robert Smith.
Thank you very much. Good night.